Good morning and welcome to this Intertranslations webinar. During this webinar, we will have a look at the basic feature of the Citrix platform and of the vendor portal developed by Intertranslations, and we will also look at the main feature of Memsers and Trados that are the two CAD tools used by the agency for the tasks you will be working on. So as a first step, I will tell you how to install the Citrix desktop receiver on your computer, and then I will show you the steps you need to follow anytime you need to work on a project for the agency on the Citrix platform. So I'll start sharing my screen right now so you can see what I'm doing. And the first thing you have to do when you receive the access credentials to the Citrix platform by the agency is to download the Citrix desktop receiver. To do so, you have to go to this page that is https://ep.intertranslations.com. You will be directed to a page that is the page where you can download and install the Citrix desktop receiver. You do not see here on my screen this install button because I have already installed the desktop receiver on my computer. So the first time you go there, you will have a green button where you need to click just install, follow the guided procedure, and then you will install your Citrix desktop receiver. Once you have installed your Citrix desktop receiver, you will have an icon here that is this one, as you can see. So anytime you need to connect to the Citrix platform, you just go on this icon and double click on it. The Citrix desktop receiver will launch. What you need to do is you will be prompted with this window that is you have to insert the username and the password and also the domain. So you just insert domain that is Intertrans, then this inverted slash, and then your username and password, and there you go. You will be, as you can see here, something has changed. You have your number here, your ID number, which means that you are connected to the Citrix desktop, to the Citrix platform, and now you want to access the desktop. The first time ever you will connect to the Citrix platform through the desktop receiver, you will not find this icon here, desktop. You will find it here where you see the plus. So you just click on the plus. You will find the application here, desktop. You just select and drag it here, and you will always find it there. So it's just a thing that you need to do just the first time ever you connect to Citrix. The other times it will not be necessary. So you have inserted your username and password. Now you just need to click desktop, and this will launch your desktop, as you can see. So you just click OK here. And you will be connected to your Citrix desktop. There we go. As you can see, it's a normal desktop, Windows desktop. You have all the tools that you need. You have the programs, you have Microsoft Office package, Adobe, WinZip, everything you need to perform your work. As you can see here, you have also the Internet Explorer web browser. So please just bear in mind always to use this web browser because Google Chrome is not compatible with the platform, so you may experience some problems. So when you work on Citrix, you will need to use the Internet Explorer browser. So now, when you double click on your web browser, as you can see here, you have as default two home pages that are the login to the vendor portal and the login to the Memsers account, which is very useful. So first thing, before we start with MemSource and Trados, let's have a look at how the vendor portal works. So you just connect to the Citrix platform through the Citrix desktop receiver as we have done before, and you select your web browser. And the home page, one of the home pages set by default is the vendor portal. So here you just insert your credentials that are a new username and password, and you will enter in your personal portal, your personal vendor portal, where you can find the assigned vendor tasks, the evaluation tasks, and most importantly for you, the POs. So it's where you go to invoice your POs. May take a while, but let's just wait a second. Okay, there we go. So you can see here you have different tabs. You have the assigned vendor tasks, and we will come back here when we see how to download the files that you need to work on and so on. But just now, just for you to know that here is where you find your assigned tasks. Here you have the evaluation tasks, and here you have a very important part, that is the POs. So as you can see here, we have some POs in green, one PO in red, and one other POs in gray. So the POs in gray are the POs that you have already invoiced. The POs in red are those POs that you cannot invoice yet, because maybe they have not been invoiced yet to the client, or there are some quality issues, or simply after the PO is created, it takes some days to become green. When you have the green POs, you can select them and you can just invoice them following the guided procedure. So you select them all and then you go on create invoice. Sometimes you may not see all the PO, so to display all the PO that are attached to your vendor code, you just go on PO creation date, select here, as I'm doing it right now, whenever, click on the green tick, accept, and all the POs will be seen. And as I was saying before, when you have your green POs, you can just select them, create an invoice, and by following the guided procedure, you will create the invoice. Once you have created the invoice, your invoice will be transmitted directly to the accounting department, and you will receive an automatic confirmation email confirming that you have completed correctly and submitted correctly your invoice. So you do not need to send the invoice to the accounting department. Everything will be done automatically through the vendor portal. Okay, so this is everything I wanted to tell you about Citrix, the use of Citrix and vendor portal, and I hope it was clear. Now we can continue starting with MemSource and by having a look on how the process looks like from the moment when you accept a job to the moment you have to deliver it back to your project manager, to the agency. So once you have accepted a job, you will receive a confirmation email. I will show it now. You will receive an email like this one. So it's the WorkIt notification. So you have all the information you need here. You have the project code, the project description, the service, translation, the source language, the target language, the terminology. For those of you, of course, working on the European Parliament or European Commission account, you will have here in terminology always politics and governments, and then the software to be used, and then in this case it was STL Trados Studio 2015, the word count. Of course, this is a mock email just for you to know. And here you can find the most important the most important part of this email. That is, first of all, these two, the PMF and the PLNG code. Please pay attention always to put your PLNG code in the object of your email when you want to communicate something with to your project manager or to the language lead of your account, or to the language lead of the project about the translation you're doing. So if just remember to put this PLNG code in the object of your email, because this will make it easier for the project managers and for the language lead to find your project. Another important things here, you have some useful links, as you can see. Most of the times the doubts and the questions that you have you can find an answer to them by clicking on these links where there are some frequently asked questions and so on. So just for the first times when you start working on these projects, just remind that you have some useful links here at the bottom of the email. So maybe if you have some problem, the solution can be found in these links. So now let's pretend that we have been assigned a project in memsource. So we will start in memsource. Here it will be written memsource. And what we need to do is, first of all, of course, we connect to the Citrix platform through the Citrix desktop, as we've seen before. So after we have connected to the platform, we click on our web browser and go to the login memsource, to the memsource account. We insert our username and password, we sign in, and you can see here that you have the list of the projects that you have accepted. So in this case we will have this one. There's a mock project of course. You click on it, as I did, and what happens is that here you have all the information you need about your project. So you have, our task is a translation, and we have the file here. We also have the translation memories and the term bases attached, and you also have a reference here. In this case, the reference tab is empty because this is a mock test. However, when you receive a real project, you need to go to this tab on the memsource page, as we have seen. You go here on reference, and here you will find the folders that you need to download containing the reference materials. So containing the source document, containing reference documents, instructions, and so on. So always remember to go down, to scroll down, to go to reference and download the reference documents for your translation to be done in memsource. Now, another note, as I said here, we have the translation memories and the term bases. Some of you may ask if we can use our own translation memories or our own term bases by working when working on memsource. The answer is no. Why? Because we are working on the agency's account in memsource, so we cannot attach our own translation memories. To do so, we would need to have a personal account. But this is not the case because we're working on the agency account. So the information about the translation memories and the term bases is just displayed for your information. Anyway, all the projects that you will receive will have the translation memories linked by the European Parliament or the European Commission, the term bases. The projects come all linked with the translation memories, plus, of course, the translation memory developed by the agency in these projects with the European institutions. So now, what do we have two options to start working. Since MemSource is a CAD tool, is a web-based, is a cloud-based CAD tool, in theory, we wouldn't need to download anything because we could just work on our project from the web browser. So, and to do so, we just select, as I've done here, and we click on the project, and as you can see, in a while, the text will appear, your job will appear, and there you go. Of course, as this is a mock test, this has already been translated and so on. So as you can see here, you can just, as I did before, select here, click on the file, and then your job will appear, and you can just work on this web browser page. However, what I usually suggest is not to use this option, this cloud option, let's say, on the web browser tab. Why? Because sometimes maybe your internet connection can be disrupted or it can be slower. So you do not want to waste your time because you cannot pass from one segment to another because the connection is slow. Okay, so what I think it's important and it's useful to do is to download the file, and I'll show you how to do that. You go here, select as I've done, and then click on download, and you download the bilingual MXLIF file. You choose where to save it, save as. I've already saved it in my folder, as you can see here, so you just save it, and we go back to our folder. And as you can see here, you have your file. It has the MemSource editor icon, which means that it's done in MemSource. So just double click on it and the desktop application will launch. The desktop application has exactly the same features of the web application, but the only advantage is that it's faster. So my advice is for you to work on the desktop application, as we will do in this webinar. Before you start working, you need to check two things. The first one is that these three squares must be green, because this means that you are logged in to your MemSource account, and then that the translation memories and the term bases are active. So everything is okay. The translation memory is connected. Will give you proposals for the translation of segments. You can perform concordance search and so on and so forth. So it's very important that all these three squares are green. Another important thing to check is that you need to activate this show white space character button, which is very important because this is the only way that you have to see if there are double spaces or if you need to insert a non-breakable space and so on, as requested, for instance, by the interinstitutional style guide. So, well, the functioning of this cut tool is pretty simple. So now I will erase the existing translation. You just go on the segment and type in your translation. So, and then to confirm, you press Control Enter. Here, as you can see, it was in translation memory, so it came up by itself, and you just confirm the segment and you continue like this. So now let's have a look at some of the features that you may find useful in MemSource. Well, as in the other CAD tools, you have the normal features such as find and replace. So you go on Tool and Find and Replace, and here at the bottom you will see this tab. You can find in the source, you can search in the source or in the target, and you can find and replace, and it's pretty simple and pretty straightforward. How do we perform the concordance search in MemSource? It's really easy. You can see here you have a search tab. So you just click on the search tab. You are now searching from English into Italian because this is the language combination of this project. You can activate this to search in both directions. And for instance, I want to search to look for the translation of committee. So I just type in my word, press search, and then you can see you have the different translations available. You can see committee, commissione, and so on. So this is pretty simple. This is for the concordance search. Another feature that you might find useful is this one, is the filter. As you can see here, we have two blank fields here, and this is a filter. So for instance, this filter allows to filter either the source or the target by a word or by a sentence. So let's pretend, for instance, that I want to filter the source by a particular word. Let's say maybe climate. Okay, so I just type in my word, and as you can see, only the segments containing that word will be shown. Then of course you can clear the filter, and you can do exactly the same thing for the target. So let's say we want to filter by the word industria. There you go, and you have all the segments containing that word. There are some advanced options as regards the filter. You can see here, you just click on this and you can filter, for instance, by segment status. And this is particularly useful because you can filter by locked or unlocked segments. Sometimes the text sent by the European Parliament or European Commission contain already some locked segments because they have been already translated. So you do not need to translate them. And in this case, the segments are displayed in gray, and you can filter by not locked segments. So only the segments you need to work on will be displayed. This is particularly useful. Another thing about the filter is that it is useful because for instance, it allows you to filter by word or even by sentence. And for instance, if at the end of your translation before delivery you want to change the translation of a word through the entire text, well, by using the filter this will be very easy. Other features of memsource. Well, as you can see here, we have some arrows going down. This means that this is a repetition, and this means that once you have translated this segment 3, if exactly the same segment is shown in segment 220, once you have translated it here and confirmed, it will automatically propagate through the entire translation. It's like a context match in Trados. Other features, for instance, what if we want to join two segments for grammar reasons? Like in this case, we want to join segment 33 and segment 34. It's very simple. We just need to pay attention to where we put the cursor exactly, because that is the point where the segment will be joined. So we want to join the segment after the semicolon. We put our cursor here and we press Control J, and this joins the two segments. Okay, so I'll do it again so it's clear. We put our cursor here and then press Control J, and our segments are joined. Other features in memsource, well, you have here these little balloons that you can see. These little balloons can be used to insert some comments. Maybe you want to justify your choice, your translation choice, or you want to make a comment for the reviser, or you want to make a comment for the project manager. So you just click on the balloon, type in your comment, and then press OK. This will change here, and all the people having access to your file will also, of course, have access to your comments. So please bear this in mind as well. Another important thing that we need to look at in memsource are tags. So let's take this segment 19. As you can see here in the source, we have two blue let's say squares. These squares are tags, and as we know, tags may contain information about formatting, about some link, and so on. So it is important that we reproduce exactly the tags as are in the source in the target. So how do we do that? We have two options. The first one is just press F8 and the first tag will appear. Then we go on with our translation and then F8 again and the second tag will appear. Or we can type in our translation, then select what is in the tags, and again F8 and the tag will appear. Another option is that you copy the source into the target so the structure is already there and you just type in your translation between the tags. There you go. You confirm the segment and you are okay. So let's, of course, the tags, as I was saying, may contain information about formatting, and this is very important and they must be reproduced. When you have tags in the source, there are no problems. You just reproduce the tags in the target and that's it. But sometimes you may need to put some words to change the formatting of some words in the target, and you do not have formatting tags at your disposal in the source. So what you do in this case? Well, you may think that it would be easy. You just select the words. I think in this case we want to put this word commissione in bold. So you may think it's easy. I select the word, I go here, bold, and that's it. No, unfortunately it doesn't work in this way. Why? Because after you have delivered your work in MemSource, your file will be reprocessed by the project managers in another CAT tool. So this information, if you just put bold here, this piece of information will be lost. So we need to insert what are known as ghost tags. A ghost tag is not a real tag, but it serves as an indicator for the project manager to tell him/her that that word must be put in bold italics, and so on. I will just give you an example here, and then you will receive a list of the most common ghost tags that you use, so you can just copy paste them when you need them. So I repeat, you need ghost tags only when you need to change the formatting of a word in the target and you do not have tags in the source at your disposal. So let's pretend we want to put the word commissione in bold. We put this ghost tag. We start with the curly parenthesis. So we go like this. Sorry. And then SB, we close the curly parenthesis, and then here again EB, and we close the curly parenthesis. So this S stands for start, and B stands for bold, so start bold and then end bold. And this is it. So now let's pretend you have finished your translation, you have confirmed all the segments are confirmed, and what you need to do now is, of course, from time to time you need to save your document, just And another thing you can do is you can go on document and you can upload it to server. And I will explain to you in a while what happens. So save your file, upload it to the server. Now you need to perform the mandatory QA check. So you go here on the QA tab and you just click on Run. The QA check in MemSource includes a spell checker and the check for the tags and like QA errors, for instance, difference in the punctuations and so on. So it's sometimes it may be slow, as in this case, so you just need to wait a little bit, but it's mandatory that you perform the QA check before you deliver your job to the project manager, to the agency. So we'll just wait for the QA check to be completed. There we go. And as you can see here, you have a lot of mistakes. You go one by one and you ignore or correct, of course, according to what you need. All right. So you can also, you will go there and select. It will take you to the relevant segment and so on. So you go one by one. You can also hide the ignored ones, and that's it. So once you have finished your QA checks, you have to go through all the mistakes. I will now ignore them all in once so we can proceed. Just again, document, go on document. So you have finished your QA checks, you are happy with your translation, go on document, upload to server again. Now it's time to hand back your translation. So you just close, go back to your Memsers account, log in again or refresh the page as I'm doing it right now. As you can see, the file has been completed 100%, and what you need to do is now change status. Here, completed by linguist, and save. This will generate an automatic email which will inform the project manager that you have delivered the job. So once you have done this, you have finished. You have completed your job, you have delivered your job, so you don't need to send the file via email or something. Just a quick remark, if you want to get a word preview of your file, well, before delivery, it may be useful. You go to the Memsers editor where we were working before, you go on document, and you can export to a bilingual doc. And the doc file will be created in the same folder where you have saved your file. There you go. You have a bilingual doc file here. So you just can have a look at your file in Word, and also the comments are displayed as you can see here. So this may be useful as well. So this concludes the part about Memsers. I hope it was clear. Now we will have a look at what happens when we need to work on Trados. Well, when we need to work on Trados, we will receive exactly the same email that I have shown before. I'll show it again. Here, in this case, as in this email you're seeing on the screen, you have SDL Trados Studio. So what you need to do when you receive a project to be done in Trados. First of all, as you did for Memsers, you connect again to the Citrix platform through the Citrix desktop receiver, as we have seen, and just let me close this. Okay, so you connect again to the Citrix platform, but this time you go to the vendor portal. So you go to the vendor portal, you insert your username and password, and you go on assign vendor tasks. So like this one, let's pretend this one is your project. So you click on the PLNG number here, and you have this. You have the description of your file, the description of your task, and you have the task files You have workit and main incoming. You have to download both of the folders that you find there because they contain the Trados Studio package you will need to work on and a folder containing all the reference materials. So the reference material will be downloaded through the vendor portal by this section, task files. So you download both folders, you save them wherever you want, and then in the folders that you have downloaded, you will find for sure this thing that is a Trados package. That is the package you need to work on. And you can see that it's a Trados package because it has this icon with a green arrow. So what you need to do, well, basically, once you have downloaded the package, you just double click on it. This will launch automatically Trados Studio. And you can follow the guided procedure. You can save it wherever you want. I'm going to save it here. Follow the guided procedure and just click on finish, and this will open your package. So close, and there you go. You see this is your project that is shown in the projects view here in Trados. So you select your project. You can see you have two files in this case. Of course, these files have already been translated. We will just take them as a reference. So what we need to do is we just double click on the file and it will be displayed in the Trados editor. And here you have your Trados environment. And of course here there are the translation memories attached to the package you have received, and of course the term bases as well. Well, Trados is very intuitive, it's very simple. So in this case, for instance, as you can see, there is a 100% match for amendment, and this will come up automatically from the translation memory. Anyway, what you need to do is, in this case, again, I will just erase this to show you. Just type in your translation. You see you have some suggestion coming from the translation memory, so you just select, press, enter, and that's it. To confirm a segment, you need to press Control, Enter, and you are okay. Two things before you start working on Trados. The first one, again, here, you need to activate the Show White Space character button for the same reasons we saw before in MemSource, because you can see double spaces or non-breakable spaces and so on. Another important thing that you need to do before starting working in Trados is you go on View here and you select here the tag ID and the toggle display of formatting tags. This will allow you to see the formatting tags with their number reference, let's say with their ID. As you can see here, we press both of them and we can see this purpley, the things that are the formatting tags, which are of paramount importance, all the more so if you're working on amendments for the European Parliament. So now, well, we have already seen this. Just type in your translation and so on. How do you perform the concordance search in MemSource? In Trados? Well, it's very simple. Just select the word and then press F3, as you can see here, and you can have the results coming from the translation memory. So again, let's say we want to search for this one, for family business. F3, and as you can see, all the relevant segments coming from the translation memory, and as you can see also from the term basis of the European Parliament, because in this translation memories the other documents of the European Parliament are attached. So you have very good options to look for words or even sentences in the translation memory through the concordance search that is F3. So now let's have a look at how we deal with the tags in Trados. It's really simple. Well, the first thing is, as we saw in, I will now erase them so we can put them together. Just remember the same thing. It's of paramount importance that you reproduce exactly the same structure of the tags that you found in the source, in the target language, because otherwise in Trados, for instance, if you have some problems with the tags, you will not be able to create the document, the final document from this. So, okay, we have inserted our translation. Now we need to put the tag. We have this, and we will need to put this in tag PT24. So what we do is we highlight the word as I did, and then we go with the quick insert option, that is highlight the word and then press Control, comma, and the list of tag will appear, which is PT24. Then we have a little space with tag PT25, so we select it, Control, comma, PT25, and we continue. Then until here we have in tags tag PT26, so we select, and there you go. Then again, number one is a superscript, so PT select, Control, comma, PT27, and that's it. And then we have the comma between tags PT28, so we select and go with it. So this is like the quick insert option. What you can do is also that you can just, as we did before, well, you can just copy paste the source into the target. So you just copy paste the structure, and you do so by clicking Control Insert. Then you type in your translation. So you just need to worry about not your translation and not the tags, the quick insert option as we did. So it really depends, I mean, on how you prefer to work. But please always bear in mind to reproduce the structure of the tag. So what happens in this case as well, if we need to put something to change the formatting of a word in the target, but we have no tags at our disposal. So now we will just have a look at one example, just random, just for you to understand. So let's pretend that for whatever reason, because of the interinstitutional style guide, or for whatever reason, we need to put a word here in the target in bold italics, and we have no bold italic and no bold italics tag in the source. As you see here in segment 127, we have no formatting tags. So what do? Well, in this case, we can use the formatting options offered by Trados. We just select the word and go with BI, bold italics. And as you can see, the word is in bold italics. Just bear in mind that if you want to change again the formatting, you need to highlight everything, sorry. Well, you need to highlight everything. And go on clear formatting. So, bold italics, if we want to cancel, to put it to plain formatting again, we highlight everything and we go on clear formatting. Remember that you need to go on clear formatting. It does not work as it does in Word, because if you do like this and then you want to put it again as you would do in Word, this is what happens, and this is not possible. So just remember, highlight and then format, cancel clear formatting. So yes, that's how you need to proceed. So let's pretend you have finished your translation, you're happy with it, you have confirmed all the segments, you have reproduced all the tags, and so on. So you are good to go, you're good to deliver your job, so just remember to save. If a message mirror like this appears, don't worry, it's just a problem of compatibility of the software with the platform. Just press OK and your work is saved anyway. So what you need to do next? Well, you need first of all to perform the two mandatory checks in Trados. The first one is the QA check and the second one is the spell check and the grammar check. So the first one is the F8 check. So you just QA check, you press F8 and it looks for mistakes with tags, with punctuation and so on. There you go. So we have no errors, no mistakes in this file. And then you perform your spell check, your F7, by pressing F7. So you press F7 and you go and by one you analyze them, ignore, these are names, so of course you ignore them and so on. And you go through the entire file and you analyze it. Once you have finished these two mandatory checks, you are good to go. Another important thing that you may want to do is to convert your file in Word to see how your translation looks like. So you have two options here. You can either get a Word preview of your file, and to do so you just need to press Control Shift P, and this will generate a Word preview of your file, as you can see. So Control Shift P to generate the Word preview of the file, as you see now. And here you can see, you can reread your translation, you can look for mistakes and blah, blah, blah. Always remember that you need to, if you spot a mistake, if you want to change it, you always need to go back to your Trados file. If you change here something, this will not have an impact on the file that you will deliver back to the agency. So if you spot a mistake here, just go back to the relevant segment in Trados and correct it there. Another way to obtain the Word copy of your file is you go on File, then select Save Target As, and you save it, and it will be saved as a Word document. This may take a while because this file is really big. So I think I will stop this because it's important that you see how to do that. So now you have performed your work, you have done the mandatory checks, you are happy with your work, so what you need to do is now to hand back your file to the project manager. You always need to hand back a package, a return package. So how do you do that? You go here on Files View, you select both of the files in this case, and right-click, Create Return Package. You go on Next. Now, of course, you follow the guided procedure. Next. So there you go. Next. You can choose where to save your return package. I will save it in my folder here. Save. Finish. And that's it. You have saved your return package. You can open the target folder, and there you go. You have your return package. You can recognize it because it has a blue arrow. So once you have obtained your return package, you go back to the vendor portal, to your assigned task, and you upload it here. you browse the file, so you can select the file, you select where you have saved it. I saved it here, select, open, blah blah, file uploading, and this will complete your job. I would like to make some final notes now before ending this session about Trados. Sometimes the project manager may ask you to send them the another file, that is the SDLXLIF file, because maybe your return package was not created correctly. So how can you do that? If the project manager asks you for the SDLXLIF file, you go on the project here, your project, you go on Open Project folder, you go on the target language folder, and as you can see here, you have your SDL/XLIF documents. And only if asked by the project manager to send the SDL/XLIF documents, then you'd need to, I will do it again, go to the project, Open Project folder, target language folder, and there you have the SDL/XLIF file, and you can forward them to the project manager. Another note for those of you who will be working as revisors. So the revisors will receive two packages from here. You will have another link, so you will need to download 3 folders. The revisors will receive a return package, the original package, sorry, and the return package, so 2 packages as we have here, the one with the green arrow and the one with the blue arrow. The one with the green arrow is the original package, and the one with the blue arrow is the return package created by the translator. You will need to open the original package first in Trados, as we did before. Then you will need to open the return package, and Trados will merge them automatically into one file, and you will obtain a file as I've shown before. So it's already translated as we've seen. It's the same file as a file like the one we have worked on. Here you can perform your review. You can use, of course, track changes and everything. And again, when you deliver back your work after the review task, you need again to create a return package and upload the return package on the vendor portal, as I've shown before. When you upload the revision of a translation, please remember always to insert an evaluation here, and of course some notes, so it will be easier to assess the quality of the translations and of the translators. So this ends my webinar today. I hope everything was clear. Thank you very much for your attention. Bye.